Ethan stepped carefully onto the surface of Xylaris, the alien planet glowing with colors he had never seen before. The sky was a swirl of violet and gold, and strange crystalline structures jutted from the ground like frozen lightning. His boots sank slightly into the soft, almost translucent soil. This planet had been long studied by human scientists from orbit, but few had dared to set foot on it. The delegation that sent him here believed the Xylarians had technology that could change human understanding of biology and machinery. He adjusted the straps of his exploration suit, checking the small device strapped to his wrist that monitored life signs and environmental conditions. Everything seemed stable, though the air carried a faint hum that made his hair tingle. He was not alone in the open field. Robotic drones hovered nearby, capturing data, scanning the landscape. But Ethan's attention was focused on one goal: finding the Xylarians, who were said to live in the crystalline city ahead. When he approached the city, he noticed shapes moving among the crystals, tall, sleek beings with smooth, shimmering skin that reflected the light in dazzling patterns. Their bodies were elegant and weary, but there was strength in the way they moved. Ethan had seen their images on screens before, but seeing them in real life made him catch his breath. One of them, a female Xylarian, stood apart from the others, adjusting something on her arm. Ethan stepped closer, holding his hands in a gesture of peace. "Hello," he said carefully. "I come in peace. I am here to help." The Xylarian turned sharply. Her eyes were wide, almost glowing, and her lips parted as if she wanted to speak. But when she did, her voice cracked slightly, giving it a sharp, startled edge. "Human, what are you doing to my body?" she exclaimed. Ethan froze. He had not touched her, and yet her alarm was clear. He stepped back, raising his hands. I'm not touching you. I only wish to help," he said softly. The Xylarian's gaze narrowed. She moved closer to a large crystal panel behind her, almost like she was using it for support. Ethan noticed wires and tubes extending from her suit, running along her arms and connecting to small nodes on her skin. Her body seemed tense, like a finely tuned instrument that was on the verge of breaking. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice trembling slightly, though she tried to keep it calm. "You do not understand. My biosuit, it is malfunctioning. If a human interferes, it could destroy me." Ethan nodded, understanding the risk. He had trained for alien physiology, but this was different. The Xylarian biosuit was not just a piece of equipment. It was an extension of her body, connected to her nervous system in ways humans had only theorized. One wrong move could paralyze her or worse. "I understand, Lyra," Ethan said. "I won't touch anything until you allow me. I need to see what is wrong, but I will be careful." "Can you trust me?" Lyra hesitated. She studied him for a long moment, her glowing eyes flicking over his human suit and gadgets. Finally, she nodded, though reluctantly. "Very well, but do not make a mistake. I will not forgive it." Ethan approached slowly, keeping his hands visible. He examined the biosuit from a distance first. Tiny pulses of light traveled along the tubes, but some areas flickered and dimmed. "I see the problem," he said softly. "Some of your suit's neural connections are unstable. I can help stabilize them, but I need to get closer." Lyra took a deep breath, gripping the edge of the crystal panel. "Do what you must, human, but be careful." Ethan knelt beside her, pulling out a small device that resembled a scanner. It projected a soft blue light over the suit, tracing the neural pathways. The patterns were unlike anything Ethan had seen before. They moved and shifted as if alive, responding to Lyra's thoughts and emotions. He adjusted the device, trying to map the pathways accurately. "You see," he explained, "your suit is reacting to your nervous system perfectly in some areas, but in others, it's losing connection. That is why you are losing control of your limbs." Lyra's hands trembled. "I know. I can feel it. It is frightening." Ethan looked up at her, keeping his tone calm. "I can help you regain control, Lyra, but you must stay calm. Any sudden movement could make it worse." She swallowed hard and nodded, though her body shook. Ethan gently extended his hand toward a control panel on her arm. "May I?" he asked out. Lyra hesitated, then stepped back slightly. Yes. Carefully, Ethan placed his fingers on the panel. The suit's surface felt warm, almost organic. As he adjusted the settings, the lights along the tubes began to pulse more evenly. He could feel a subtle resistance, almost like the suit was alive and wary of a human touch. Suddenly, Lyra's body jerked violently. Her legs buckled slightly, and her arms flailed. "No, stop," she cried, panic in her voice. Ethan reacted instantly, supporting her before she could fall. "I've got you," he said, his voice firm but gentle. "It's okay, Lyra. You are safe," she gasped, struggling to breathe steadily. Her glowing eyes filled with a mixture of fear and confusion. "Human, what are you doing? Why is this happening?" Ethan shook his head, trying to calm both of them. "It's the suit, it is malfunctioning. I am stabilizing the connection. You are safe with me, I promise." Lyra's hand shook as she reached out to touch his arm, almost instinctively. "I cannot control it," she admitted, her voice breaking. "It feels wrong. Everything feels wrong." Ethan nodded, understanding her fear. "I know, but you are strong, Lyra. Your body and mine are resilient. I just need a little more time to help your suit." He worked carefully, adjusting the interface between the suit and her nervous system. The suit responded slowly, the erratic pulses of light becoming steadier. Lyra's body stopped jerking as violently, though she still shivered. Ethan spoke softly. "Almost there. Stay calm. Focus on your breathing. In and out. You are safe. I will not let anything happen to you." Lyra followed his instructions as best she could. Slowly, her movements became more controlled. The trembling subsided slightly. It feels better," she whispered, almost in disbelief. You are helping me." Ethan smiled gently. "Yes, I am. You are not alone, Lyra. Humans have always found ways to solve problems, even ones we don't fully understand. And sometimes, that means helping others when they cannot help themselves." Lyra's eyes softened, the fear giving way to a cautious trust. She studied him closely, noticing the determination and care in his expression. "I did not expect a human to be like this," she admitted. Ethan chuckled lightly. "We surprise even ourselves sometimes. But your suit, it is almost stable now. Just a few more adjustments and you should regain full control." As he worked, he realized the suit was more than a protective device. It was part of her identity, part of who she was. Mishandling it could damage her physically and emotionally. He approached each adjustment with respect, carefully watching her reactions. Finally, after several tense minutes, the suit's lights pulsed evenly across her body. Lyra flexed her fingers, then her arms, then her legs. A small smile appeared on her face. "I can move again. Thank you, human. I did not think it was possible." Ethan relaxed, though he remained vigilant. "You did it. Your body is strong, and we just helped it along. You should rest for a while, though. Your nervous system has been under a lot of stress." Lyra nodded, leaning against the crystal panel. "You saved me. I cannot forget this, human." Ethan smiled softly. "I did not seek thanks, but I am glad you are safe." That is enough. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Words were not needed. Trust had been earned, fear had been faced, and a bond had begun to form. Lyra's body was stable, her suit functioning again, but more importantly, her mind had begun to accept the presence of a human not as a threat, but as a helper. The distant hum of the city and the glowing crystals surrounded them, silent witnesses to the unusual friendship that had begun on this alien world. Ethan knew that the journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more mysteries to uncover, and more moments when human ingenuity and courage would be tested. But for now, he had accomplished the impossible. He had helped a Xylarian regain control of her body when she had thought it lost forever. Lyra looked at him once more, a mixture of gratitude and curiosity in her eyes. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we thought," she said quietly, almost to herself. Ethan's smile widened. "We never are, Lyra. We never are." And with that, the two of them began the first steps of a partnership. that could change the future of both their species. After the tense events with the biosuit, Ethan and Lyra moved slowly through the crystalline city. The buildings were unlike anything Ethan had seen before, towers made of translucent material that glimmered like liquid glass. Light refracted in countless directions, creating a kaleidoscope of color around them. Despite the beauty, the city had an eerie stillness. Most Xylarians stayed hidden, watching the human and the warrior scientists from a distance. Lyra led Ethan to a large structure in the center of the city. Its walls pulsed faintly with soft light, and intricate patterns ran across the surface. She paused at the entrance, glancing back at him. "We do not usually allow outsiders inside," she said quietly. "But you saved me. You have earned a chance to see more." Ethan nodded, feeling a mix of pride and caution. "I will respect your customs. I did not want to overstep." They entered, and Ethan immediately noticed the difference. The interior was alive with energy. Devices and panels floated in the air, controlled by gestures and thought. Streams of light carried data across the room, and Xylarians worked silently, their hands moving gracefully through the glowing interfaces. Ethan's eyes widened. He had studied alien technology before, but seeing it in action was different, intimidating yet fascinating. Lyra guided him to a central chamber. In the middle of the room, a large sphere hovered, filled with shifting patterns of light. "This is our neural core," she explained. "It manages the life systems for our city and our people. My suit is connected to it. If the core experiences instability, it affects every biosuit in the city." Ethan stepped closer, studying the sphere. "That explains why your suit reacted so violently," he said. "It's like your entire environment was out of sync." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. And the problem is spreading. If the core fails completely, many of us could lose control of our suits, or worse. That is why I am here. I was trying to repair the connection myself, but it is difficult." Ethan's mind raced. "Maybe I can help. I have experience with human neural networks, and some of the principles might apply here. It will be a challenge, but I believe we can stabilize it together." Lyra looked at him sharply. "Do you understand the risk? If you make a mistake, it could harm more than just me. It could affect all of us." Ethan held her gaze steadily. "I understand, but doing nothing is worse. I am willing to try." She hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Very well, human. We begin." They moved closer to the sphere, and Ethan activated his neural interface device. It projected a soft blue light that traced patterns in the air. He touched the interface carefully, feeling the pulse of energy as it reacted to his presence. Lyra watched him, her glowing eyes showing both concern and curiosity. As Ethan began to map the patterns of the core, he realized how complex the system was. It was not just technology, it was biological and mechanical, intertwined in ways that humans had never encountered. He adjusted the interface, trying to find areas of instability. Suddenly, the sphere flickered violently. A surge of energy shot out, causing the room to shake. Lyra stumbled, and Ethan caught her immediately. "Hold still. We need to synchronize your suit with the core," he shouted over the hum of energy. Lyra's hand shook as she reached out to steady herself. I cannot control it fully," she cried. Ethan acted quickly. He activated a secondary device that allowed him to create a temporary bridge between his neural interface and her biosuit. The suit reacted immediately, the erratic pulses slowing. Lyra's body stopped jerking violently, though she still trembled. "It's working," Ethan said, focusing intently. "We just need to keep it stable while I adjust the core." Lyra's eyes met his. "I trust you," she whispered, the words almost lost in the hum of energy. Ethan nodded, encouraged by her trust. It gave him confidence to work faster. He adjusted the connections, carefully tracing each neural pathway, aligning them with the human device. Sparks of light danced along the suit, reflecting in the crystalline walls. It was delicate work. One mistake could send the system into chaos. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Ethan moved swiftly but carefully, his mind fully focused. Lyra's suit responded to his touch, regaining more control with each adjustment. She flexed her fingers, then her arms, and finally her legs. Each movement was a small victory, but the core was not fully stabilized. The sphere pulsed erratically again, this time with a deeper, almost rhythmic vibration that resonated through the floor. Ethan felt it in his chest, a warning that the system was reaching a critical point. "We need to amplify the stabilizer," he said urgently. "If the energy surges again, it could undo all our work." Lyra nodded, though fear flickered in her eyes. "Do it. I will help. Guide me." Ethan explained the steps, and together they adjusted the energy flow. Lyra extended her hands toward the floating panels, guiding the streams of light with precise gestures. Her suit glowed brighter as the connection deepened. Ethan followed her lead, sensing his device with hers. Slowly, the sphere's flickering lessened. The energy stabilized, and the hum of the city returned to a steady rhythm. Lyra's body relaxed, the trembling gone. She stood taller, her glowing eyes reflecting relief and gratitude. You did it," she said, her voice trembling slightly. I can feel the stability returning." Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "We did it together, Lyra. Your body, your suit, and my device, everything worked as one." Lyra studied him for a moment, her expression thoughtful. "Humans, you are capable of much more than we imagined." "I was wrong to doubt you." Ethan shook his head. "We are not perfect, but we try. And sometimes, trying is enough." For the first time, Lyra allowed herself to relax fully. She flexed her arms and legs, testing the control she had regained. "It feels natural again," she whispered. "Like I have my body back." Ethan stepped back, giving her space. "Good. Now that the core is stable, you can continue your work safely. But I will stay nearby, just in case." Lyra nodded. "I appreciate that, human, truly." The two of them walked slowly through the city, observing the Xylarians who resumed their work. Ethan noticed that some of the observers had started to approach cautiously, curiosity replacing suspicion. His presence, once a threat, was becoming accepted. As they moved, Lyra spoke softly. "You have changed something here, Ethan. Not just the core, but the way we see outsiders. Perhaps humans are not so different from us after all." Ethan smiled. "We may be different, but we share many qualities: curiosity, courage, and a desire to help. Those things can bridge even the widest gaps." They reached a large open platform overlooking the city. The light from the crystalline buildings shimmered like water. Ethan looked out at the horizon, feeling a sense of awe. "It is beautiful here," he said. Lyra nodded, standing beside him. "It is, but beauty alone is not enough. We must protect it. And now, perhaps, we have learned to protect each other as well." A moment of silence passed between them, filled only by the soft hum of energy and the faint glow of the city. Ethan realized that this partnership born from necessity had grown into something stronger. Mutual respect and trust. Suddenly, the sphere's light flickered faintly, a reminder that the system was delicate and required constant attention. Ethan tensed slightly. "Looks like we are not done yet," he said. Lyra turned to him, a determined expression on her face. "No, but we have made progress. Together, we can handle what comes next." Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "Then let's continue. We will find every weak point, fix every instability. We will ensure your people's safety." As they prepared to return to the chamber, Lyra glanced at him. "Human, you have courage and intelligence. You may have changed more than the core today. You may have changed how we see the future." Ethan felt a warmth at her words. He had come to Xylars to study and help, but he had not expected to form such a bond with an alien warrior. It was rare and yet undeniable. They entered the chamber again, ready to continue their work. Sparks of light danced along the panels as Ethan connected his device once more, and Lyra guided the streams with precision. Together, they formed a rhythm, human and Xylarian working as one. Hours passed, but Ethan did not tire. His focus was unwavering. Lyra, too, worked tirelessly, her movements elegant and controlled. They corrected minor instabilities, adjusted neural pathways, and ensured the energy flowed smoothly through the core. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the sphere glowed steadily, a perfect pulse of light that radiated throughout the city. Ethan stepped back, exhausted but satisfied. Lyra stood beside him, her expression one of awe and relief. "It is complete," she said softly. "The core, the city, everything is stable." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. "We did it, Lyra. Together." For the first time, Lyra allowed herself to smile genuinely. "Together," she repeated as they stood side by side, watching the city thrive once more. Ethan realized that his journey on Xylaris was only beginning. There would be more challenges, more mysteries, and more opportunities to show that humanity's courage and ingenuity could overcome even the most alien of obstacles. And for Lyra, the human who had saved her and her people, a new trust had been forged, one that might shape the future of both species. The success with the core had brought a moment of relief, but Ethan knew the work was far from over. Lyra led him deeper into the city, to areas he had not yet seen. These were zones reserved for the most sensitive biotech systems, where a single misstep could destabilize entire networks. The corridors shimmered with soft light, and every surface pulsed faintly as if alive. Ethan followed carefully, feeling the weight of responsibility. Every movement he made was measured. Even breathing seemed loud in the quiet corridors. Lyra glanced at him occasionally, her glowing eyes reflecting both trust and vigilance. "This sector," she said, "is where our most advanced suits are developed. They are prototypes, not yet fully tested. If the core can be unstable, these suits are even more fragile. One wrong touch, and, well, it is better not to imagine the consequences." Ethan nodded. "I understand. I will be careful." They entered a wide chamber filled with suspended biosuits, floating in anti-gravity pods. The suits shimmered, some reflecting light in waves of color, others glowing softly with internal energy. Ethan could see the neural connectors, tiny filaments extending from the suits, waiting to bond with the wearer. Lyra approached one of the suits, flexing her fingers carefully. "This one belongs to a senior warrior," she explained. "It is highly sensitive. If it malfunctions, the user could be incapacitated. I was trying to adjust it when everything went wrong." Ethan studied the suit. Its surface was smooth, almost organic in appearance. Pulses of light traveled along its form, but some areas flickered, indicating instability. "I think I can help," he said, "but we need to synchronize it with the core and your neural interface simultaneously. It will be delicate work." Lyra's hands trembled slightly as she nodded. "Do it. I trust you, human." Ethan activated his interface device. Soft blue light projected into the room, tracing patterns along the suit. He could feel the energy reacting to his presence, pulsing like a heartbeat. Lyra placed her hands near the suit, her movements precise, guiding the neural connection. Suddenly, the suit jolted violently. Lyra's body moved with it, her muscles tensing uncontrollably. "No, I cannot control it," she shouted. Ethan reacted instantly, placing his hands near hers, helping stabilize her movements. "Hold still. Trust me," he commanded. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself, but the suit's flickering intensified. Ethan adjusted his device, aligning his neural signals with hers. Sparks of light danced along the suit as the two energies intertwined, human and Xylarian. Technology and biology merging, minutes passed like hours. Every adjustment required patience and precision. Ethan's hands moved quickly but gently, matching the pulses of the suit. Lyra's body gradually relaxed as control returned. Her breathing became steady, and the flickering of light subsided. It is responding," Lyra whispered, her voice filled with awe. "I can feel it. I can move properly again." Ethan nodded, focusing on the final adjustments. "Almost there. Just a little more." He traced the remaining unstable pathways, connecting them to the stabilized core. Lyra mirrored his movements with her hands, creating a perfect synchronization. Slowly, the suit glowed steadily, no flickers, no erratic pulses. It was stable. Lyra flexed her arms and legs, testing full control. Yes, it works," she exclaimed, her voice filled with relief. "I can move normally." Ethan smiled. "Good, your body is responding perfectly." The suit is now fully synchronized. For a moment, They simply looked at each other. Words were unnecessary. The connection they had built through trust, cooperation, and shared focus spoke louder than anything said. Lyra's glowing eyes softened, and a small smile appeared on her face. "You humans are remarkable," she said quietly. "I did not think it was possible for one of your kind to understand our systems so quickly. You have courage and patience." Ethan shook his head. "We are not perfect, but we try, and sometimes trying is enough to make a difference." Lyra's gaze fell on the other suspended suits. "There are more prototypes. Some of them are unstable as well. We cannot risk letting them malfunction." Ethan nodded. "Then we fix them, one at a time, step by step." Over the next few hours, Ethan and Lyra worked together, moving from suit to suit. Some required minor adjustments. Others demanded careful synchronization with the core. Ethan relied on his human ingenuity, adapting his devices and methods to the Xylarians' technology. Lyra guided him, her knowledge of the suits and neural systems invaluable. At one point, a particularly unstable suit sparked violently, sending a wave of energy across the chamber. Lyra's body tensed, and Ethan acted immediately, intercepting the energy surge with his device. "Careful! The energy can rebound," he warned. Lyra's hand shook, but she followed his instructions precisely. Together, they redirected the energy safely, stabilizing the suit before it could harm anyone. As the night passed, the chamber became a symphony of light and movement. Ethan adjusted, synchronized, and stabilized. Lyra guided, flexed, and controlled. By dawn, every prototype in the chamber was functioning perfectly. Lyra took a deep breath, stepping back from the last suit. "It is done," she said, her voice filled with exhaustion but also pride. "All prototypes are stable. The city, the people, are safer now." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. "We did it, together." Lyra studied him for a moment. "I owe you more than words can express. You saved not only my life, but the lives of many others. You have shown that humans are capable of far more than I imagined." Ethan shook his head. "I did not do it alone. You guided me every step of the way. Without your knowledge and cooperation, none of this would have been possible." They paused, looking round the chamber. The soft glow of the suits reflected in their eyes, and a sense of calm filled the space. For the first time since he arrived on Xylaris, Ethan felt a moment of peace. He had come here as an outsider, but now he was part of something greater, a mission that had bonded him to a people he barely understood hours ago. Lyra approached him, her expression thoughtful. "Human, there is something I must tell you. You have seen the surface of our city and some of our systems. But beneath this city, there are layers you cannot yet imagine. Some of our technology is still experimental. Some could be dangerous if mishandled." Ethan nodded. "I understand, and I am willing to learn. Whatever it takes to help." Lyra's eyes softened. "You are brave and patient, to qualities rare among your kind." He chuckled lightly. "We try. That is all any of us can do." She studied him for a moment, then gestured toward a descending pathway. "Come, I will show you the deeper levels. If we are to protect our people and our technology, you must understand it fully." Ethan followed her down the path, careful with each step. The walls here were darker, the lights dimmer, but energy pulses ran along the floors and ceilings, indicating the flow of power throughout the city. Strange symbols glowed faintly, like circuits etched into stone. "This sector," Lyra explained, "houses the experimental systems. They are powerful but unpredictable. Our people fear them, and with good reason. But if we can control them, we can ensure the city's safety for generations." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Then we will control them." Step by step, they reached a large chamber where several experimental devices hovered in midair, connected by streams of glowing energy. Ethan's eyes widened. The technology was beyond anything he had seen, combining elements of biology and physics in ways humans had only dreamed of. Lyra turned to him. "This is where the real challenge begins, human. If we succeed here, we can stabilize the entire city permanently. But if we fail..." She trailed off, her expression serious. Ethan met her gaze. "Then we succeed. I will not let anyone be harmed on my watch, Lyra nodded, a mixture of respect and hope in her eyes. Very well, let us begin. As they started working on the experimental systems, Ethan realized how far he had come in so short a time. From a cautious observer to an active participant, he had gained the trust of one of the most advanced alien civilizations. And in doing so, he had proven that human courage, intelligence, and determination could overcome even the most alien of challenges. Hours passed. Every adjustment was careful, every movement deliberate. Sparks of light traced the flow of energy, flickering and then stabilizing as Ethan and Lyra worked together. Slowly, the chamber's pulsing energy became steady. The experimental devices hummed in harmony, and the threat of malfunction faded. Lyra stepped back, her body relaxing fully for the first time since Ethan arrived. It is done, she whispered. The city, the systems, all stable. You, human, you have truly helped us beyond measure. Ethan allowed himself a small smile. We did it together, Lyra. That is what matters. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Then Lyra spoke softly, almost to herself, perhaps. Humans are not so different from us after all. Ethan looked at her and smiled. We share more than you think. Curiosity, courage, and a desire to help. Sometimes that is enough to change the world. And as they stood side by side, surrounded by the glow of stabilized energy, Ethan knew that his journey on Xylaris was far from over. But for the first time, he felt truly part of something greater, something that bridged the gap between human and Xylarian, showing that trust and cooperation could overcome even the most alien challenges. The city of Xylaris shimmered under the soft light of its crystalline towers. The experimental systems Ethan and Lyra had stabilized hummed in perfect harmony, casting a calm glow across the chambers. For the first time since his arrival, Ethan allowed himself to relax slightly. Though he remained alert, there was still much to learn about this alien world. And the deeper layers of the city promised challenges unlike anything he had faced before. Lyra led him through a series of twisting corridors, descending deeper beneath the city's surface. The walls pulsed faintly, a living network of energy feeding the systems above. Ethan felt the hum of power through the floor beneath his boots, a steady rhythm that seemed almost alive. This sector, Lyra explained, houses the city's defense systems. They are ancient in design, but linked to the core and experimental systems you helped stabilize. If anything were to fail here, it could endanger the entire population. Ethan studied the glowing lines that ran along the walls and ceiling. So these systems are the backbone of your city's safety. We'll need to be careful with every adjustment. Lyra nodded. Careful is not enough. We must be precise. Follow my instructions exactly. The chamber they entered was massive, filled with floating devices, panels, and streams of energy linking them in complex patterns. Ethan could feel the intensity of the systems through his neural interface device. Every pulse, every wave of energy resonated through his body, signaling the delicate balance that kept the city alive. Lyra approached one of the central nodes. Her hands glowed faintly as she touched the device, sending a cascade of energy through the network. The node is unstable, she said. We must synchronize it with the core. If it surges, it could cascade through the city. Ethan stepped closer, adjusting his device. We can do this. Step by step. I'll bridge the connection between the node and the core. You guide the energy flow. Lyra nodded, her hands moving gracefully through the air as she manipulated the streams of light. Sparks danced along the nodes, flickering with unpredictable energy. Ethan focused, sensing his neural interface with hers and with the central core. Suddenly, a surge of energy shot through the chamber. Lyra's body jerked violently, and she stumbled backward. No, I cannot control it, she shouted. Ethan reacted instantly, catching her before she could fall. Hold on, trust me, he called. Lyra's glowing eyes widened with fear, but she concentrated, following his instructions. Together, they stabilized the surge, redirecting the energy safely back into the network. The nodes pulsed steadily, no longer flickering. It worked, Lyra whispered, her voice trembling with relief. I can feel control returning. Ethan nodded, keeping his focus. Almost there. Just a few more adjustments. The two of them moved through the chamber, correcting instabilities and aligning the nodes with the core. Ethan relied on human ingenuity, improvising with his devices when unexpected fluctuations occurred. Lyra guided him, her knowledge of the city's systems invaluable. Hours passed, but neither of them tired. Each successful adjustment built their confidence. Ethan began to understand the elegance of Xylarian technology, its complexity, its integration with life itself, and its potential when used responsibly. Finally, they reached the last node, the central hub that controlled the city's defensive systems. Ethan felt the weight of responsibility in his chest. One mistake here could undo everything they had accomplished. Lyra's hands hovered over the node. This is the most critical part. If we fail, the consequences will be severe. Are you ready, human? Ethan took a deep breath. I am ready. We will succeed. Together. They began the synchronization process. Energy pulsed through the node, the core, and their combined interfaces. Sparks of light danced along the walls, reflecting in Ethan's eyes. The hum of power grew louder, resonating through the chamber like a heartbeat. Suddenly, a massive surge erupted from the node, shaking the room. Lyra's body jerked violently, and she cried out. Ethan reacted instantly, holding her steady and stabilizing the surge with his device. Focus. He shouted, "We can control this." Lyra nodded, her hands moving with precision, guiding the energy flow. Ethan matched her movements, sensing the node with the core. Slowly, the surge subsided, the pulsing light calming to a steady rhythm. Ethan let out a sigh of relief. It's stable. The node is synchronized. Lyra flexed her fingers, testing the control. It is perfect. The city's defenses are secure. They stepped back, observing the chamber. The streams of energy flowed smoothly, the nodes pulsing evenly. Ethan could feel the balance through his device, a harmony that reassured him. Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes softening. Human, you have done what few of our people could. You have saved not only my life, but the lives of countless Xylarians. You are remarkable. Ethan shook his head. I only did what was necessary. You guided me every step of the way. Without your knowledge, this would have been impossible. Lyra studied him for a moment, then smiled. Perhaps humans are capable of more than we imagined. You have courage, intelligence, and patience. You have shown that we can trust outsiders when they prove themselves worthy. Ethan felt warmth in his chest. We can achieve great things when we work together. That is what matters. The two of them walked toward the exit, the soft glow of the city welcoming them back to the surface. The Xylarians who had once watched from afar now approached, curiosity and admiration in their eyes. Ethan realized that his presence had changed more than the city's systems. It had changed the way these people viewed humans. Lyra paused, looking at him. There is one more thing, she said softly. You have proven yourself capable, human. But Xylaris is vast. There are still mysteries we have not uncovered, challenges that require careful thought and courage. Will you stay and help us continue? Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had not known before. I came here to help, and I will continue. Together, we can ensure your people and your technology are safe. Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting relief and hope. Then let us move forward, human. Together, we will face whatever comes next. As they walked through the crystalline city, Ethan felt the bond between them grow stronger. It was not just trust, it was respect, cooperation, and a shared goal. He had come to Xylaris as a visitor, an outsider. Now he was part of something greater, a bridge between human and Xylarian, showing that courage and intelligence could overcome even the most alien challenges. Hours later, as the twin suns of Xylaris began to set, casting long shadows across the city, Ethan and Lyra stood on a platform overlooking the crystalline towers. The light refracted in 1,000 colors, creating a scene of breathtaking beauty. Lyra spoke softly. Human, today you have changed the future of Xylaris. You have shown us that outsiders can help, that courage and wisdom are not limited to one species. You have earned our trust and respect. Ethan looked at her, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. and you have shown me that even the most alien systems can be understood. That cooperation can overcome fear and uncertainty. Together, we are stronger. For a moment, they stood in silence, watching the city thrive under the glow of stabilized energy. The challenges of the past day seemed distant now, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and hope. Lyra turned to him, her expression serious but calm. Human, there will be more challenges ahead, but I believe, with your help, we can face them. Your courage has inspired many, and your ingenuity has saved lives. Never doubt the power of humanity. Ethan smiled. I will remember that, Lyra, and I will continue to do my best. For you, for your people, and for the future we can build together. As the night settled over Xylaris, the city shimmered like a jewel under the stars. Ethan and Lyra knew that their journey was far from over, but for the first time, they felt a sense of certainty. Together, human and Xylarian, they had overcome fear, danger, and uncertainty. They had built trust, forged a partnership, and proven that courage, intelligence, and determination could bridge even the greatest of divides. And so, on a planet far from Earth, amidst glowing towers and shimmering crystals, a human and an alien warrior stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future might bring. The challenges ahead would be great, but together, they had shown that nothing was impossible. In the quiet glow of Xylaris, Ethan realized something profound. Humanity's greatest strength was not in its weapons or technology, but in its courage, intelligence, and willingness to help others, even those far beyond their own world. Lyra glanced at him one last time as the city pulsed peacefully around them. Human, I think today we have learned something important. That courage, wisdom, and cooperation can change the world, any world. Ethan nodded, feeling a smile spread across his face. Yes, Lyra, and together, we will continue to change it for the better. The twin suns finally dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city. The light of Xylaris reflected in Ethan's eyes, a reminder that even on the most alien world, humanity could shine brightly. And as they stood together, watching the future unfold, both human and Xylarian knew one thing, that courage, trust, and determination could overcome any challenge, no matter how great, no matter how alien.